This week, we're diving back into Season 1, Chapter 2, Behind the Decadent Visage, where we take a look at the gritty and grimy truths that lie just beneath the pit's glamorous exteriors. Now, I've worked with my audio artist Zoran to infuse this chapter with more magic, more wonder, and more incredible artistry. And along the way, we're taking a look back at the Seventh Valkyrie journey as we make our way towards Season 3. Welcome to the Seventh Valkyrie Listen-Along. Let's rock and roll. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Valkyrie Listen-Along. I'm your host Colin Sharp, creator and current voice of the Seventh Valkyrie, and if you're a new listener coming through the series for the first time, welcome. And if you're a grizzled hero of Vetera, it's awesome to have you back. In today's episode, we talk about Chapter 2, Behind the Decadent Visage, so if you haven't heard that far, stop and go listen. I won't talk about anything before this for new listeners who are listening along for the first time, but here is your warning. You ready? We're ready. Now let's get inside the episode, which starts with BC waking up with a killer hangover. We get to meet Fudge, the Woolimons and resident mascot, and then we get to see BC being totally gross. She's grimy, she's stinky, she's throwing up everywhere. And that's, not to be deterred, she goes to recruit people for a trip to the pools, which include Kalechi, Lau, Praden, and Waver. And that's a whole fun interaction where we get to see sort of the dynamic of how people behind the scenes act in Velvet. Not everyone's like this, but we get our first little taste at, the real-world denizens behind this sort of fantastical pleasure palace and how they deal with the day after and the morning after. After the trip to the pools, we get a look at BC's tattoos, who is still feeling really not great, especially after the interaction she had with the Machine King's communicator or bracelet or whatever it was. And so she decides, all right, you know what, I'm going to get on with my day. I'm not going to let this bother me. I'm going to chug a little bit of whiskey. Let's get a nice buzz on, and let's go handle our chores. But she starts panicking more and more and more as she goes through town, is going about her day, and is just starting to really get stressed out and feel like, oh, fuck, I thought, I can feel this presence lingering around me. And that doesn't even stop when she goes to train and goes to, burn out all of her energy and goes and tries to eat healthy and tries to see her friend. Doesn't help when she gets more and more fucked up. But somehow, despite the most elevated level of panic that we've seen from her, as she is looking for her hard drug, she hasn't done it. She's about to take some, seriously heavy capsules of some seriously intense drugs. She stops the recklessness, because even though she's panicking, even though she's freaking out, she's like, I'm not allowed to die. I'm not gonna, that might kill me, and so I'm not gonna do that. Shit. And it's this feeling of intense paralysis that we're left with as BC is like, oh, I don't know how to, it's encompassing her right now. And so she's like, and she, and she hits the hard drugs and goes off into La La Land, but she's like, even so, I do not feel like I have escaped this. So that's what happens in the chapter. Now let's take a look outside of the episode, and as we're revamping this audio, kind of the audio side of things, and building up the world around the original telling, there's so much that's good here. Fudge was awesome. His little warbling, just really helps bring this goofy, large creature to life all around you. I also loved the little details of BC being gross. I remember when I was first writing Velvet, my uncle, who was like an entertainment reporter, was traveled and seen some truly grimy places. He's like, this is the cleanest brothel I have ever encountered in fiction. Make it grosser. It needs to be gross. And I was like, you know what? You're totally right. And I love that we get to see kind of the grimy, stinky, behind the scenes of all the fanciness. We get to meet some of the people of the pit. I think that this is an area where a future full voice cast version will really bring this to life. I'm limited, obviously, by my vocal range to truly capture other types of voices and other cadences, other homages to different, to the very many global cultures that have lent some credence and inspiration to some of the cultures within Seventh Valkyrie. So I think this is going to be a place where you guys will notice a difference in the full voice cast version down the road, obviously. We also get to see more of Reen, the old city waterfront, in the daytime. The other side of the river just a little bit. We get our first glimpse at the lower levels of the new city. And I just think that through all of this, the original chapter and the original writing is a slow build, and getting to occupy this area and getting to occupy this world with BC as she's feeling this tension rise just makes a huge difference. And that the uplifting kind of the score and the little elements as BC turns to drugs to deal with the kind of overwhelming presence of the Machine King, that tension is just ratcheted up so much by that little, like, the little musical cues and stuff. So anyway, that's our look back at this episode. If you're itching to get ahead, you're not alone, and you can do that one of two ways. You can listen to the episodes as they were released right now, today, for free. Or if you'd like to experience the full magic of the series, you can join us on Patreon as a hero of Edera and get exclusive access to the Season 1 reimaginings weeks before they hit the public. Choice is yours. I'm honestly just glad to have you along for the ride. And it's an honor to have you with us as we start heading towards Season 3. All right, guys. See you next week. Or I think... Yeah, I will see you next week. Bye.